Welcome to Loonies and Rupees, where we dive into finance, real estate, and the global markets. Just two guys talking shop. Remember, we are not financial advisors, so do your own research. Let's get into it.
We have here with us Anish. He works with a IT company, and we have Mr. Jas Sidhu here. He works as a real estate broker. He practices in Ontario, right?
In Ontario. I've been into this industry for the last 8 years. And yeah, quite useful information I can rely on.
Okay, and I am Yogesh, and I work in transportation industry, and I manage my own portfolio. So we are here together, and we will talk about whatever we can bring on the table regarding investing, regarding journal life psychology, regarding finances, real estate, of course, and we'll try to bring some value to the listeners. But in any shape or form, this will not be a financial advice for anybody sitting at home or listening, because we are not professional financial advisors, and we are just giving you our thoughts and opinions on everything we know about. So getting that out of the way, let's begin with asking asking Jas Sidhu about real estate of Ontario, because that seems like the hot topic of conversation nowadays. Like, we have real estate market kind of in a crash right now, and we have so much going on. This Some people are in panic, and some people, like, it's nothing for them, right? So we just want to know the psychology behind somebody who's been in the market for over 15 years. Am I right?
I am 8 years in experience as a full-time broker, and previously I was an IT project manager. But been in this country for almost 20 years. I've seen lots and ups and downs of real estate in Canada. But if you talk about last 2-3 years, definitely there's a decline. The prices has corrected themselves for almost like 30-35%. They're down. It's coming there. Good opportunity for first-time home buyers. If you talk about today, this year, how it started 2026, especially once the government announced that there's a rebate of 13% for first-time home buyers on the pre-construction as well. Even they opened out for the resale as well, so anyone can buy and they'll get a 30% rebate. Market has opened up. You see now a lot of buying activities currently for the first-time home buyers and the upgraders as well. But if you compare the data from last 2 to 3 years, yes, there is a lot of decline in the sales currently, just because of how economy is behaving. But I do see that the market will probably pick up in coming, I would say, 1 to 2 years of time.
Okay, so regarding that recent pickup we have seen due to that 13% rebate, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of chatter going on about it. So
Mhm.
what can you tell us in detail? Who is it applicable to, and what are the advantage for taking that deal if you want to? Just give us everything you can on that.
So basically, government of Canada, first they announced that it's only applicable for 13% rebate from the pre-construction properties, only from the builders. It's called HST rebate, and only first-time home buyers can apply, and they can get up to 130,000, up to 1 million house. And now it's extended to whole for 1 year to everyone. So, for example, if you are not a first-time home buyer and you're selling your property and you are upgrading your property or getting a resale property, I would advise to go for a builder's property, because in a resale, let's say I'm giving a scenario, if you're putting an offer for 1.2 million house, and in a resale you won't get anything back. It's 1.2 million purchase price, but it's the same property or similar property up to 1.2 million. If you go with a builder, you'll get 130,000, approximately 30% of HST rebate back. But it's up to 1 million, it's 130,000 approximately, and then it decreases above 1 million. So that is something your accounting or the builder can let you know once you book the unit.
Okay, that
I have
sounds.
a quick question, Jaspaji. I recently saw, I think it was Mattamy Homes in Ontario. They
Yes.
came up with some new offer that, let's say you buy a pre-construction and they will give you a price freeze. Like, for example, by the time your assignment is closed, in
Mhm.
case the market changes, right, they will be covering the difference.
Yes.
Because I see a lot of people who bought like new pre-constructions for the future in the year 2023 or 2024
Yeah.
actually went through a phase where when it was time of closing, the market actually dropped a little, and then the banks were not ready to give them the complete mortgage, and they were feeling that pinch at the very end. How
Right.
do you think is this can act for like in the benefit of new home buyers?
So basically, there's a catch in there. So builder, what it's saying is the phrase is price protection guaranteed. So
Mhm.
price protection guaranteed means it is a price of the builder, not the appraisal. So if builder is saying price protection, then if let's say they've released a certain lot for $1 million in phase one, and somebody booked in phase one, and then same house, same kind of house, and same everything same, they release in phase three when market dropped for 900,000. There's 100,000 difference. I'm just giving an example. So then the purchaser who purchased in a phase one, at the time of closing, they will acknowledge to 900,000 that purchase price.
This appraiser will be obviously the what bank does before
What
giving you
bank does. It's totally different from what builder has sold. So it's nothing to do with the price protection from the builder. So whatever the resale value is going on in around that neighborhood and what the appraisal thinks what the price is comparables to that region or that community, that's they're gonna give it. So it's nothing to do with the builder, but builder on their hand, if they drop the price of the same property in coming years, and the phase one, let's say buyer is still about to close the property, then they will price match that. So it's not going to be, let's say he signed a APS for $1 million, and his closing coming up in a year's time, and the builder has dropped the same house to a 950. So builder will then price match it for 950 at the time of close.
Okay, see, that was a good catch talking to
That's
you.
good.
At least, like, I wasn't aware about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't do that, but some people, some buyers are confused. They think that it's gonna be appraisals. So
Mhm.
appraisal is not in their hands. It's the bank's appraisals. They do it. So
Yeah.
let's even builder sold it for 950K, and the house is sold around that area is selling for 900,000, right? Then appraisal won't come at 950. They may not. It depends on appraisal to appraisal,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
might come at 900, they might come at 850, they might come at million, right? So
Yeah.
appraisals are not guaranteed. But as per the builder's point of view, they will, if they have a clause in their agreement of purchase that they'll do a price protection, then they have to acknowledge that.
So
Okay.
in the past, me and Anish both have been clients with the Mr. Jasidhu, right?
Yeah.
So I've been 2 times client, 3 times, I guess.
3 times.
So, and Anish just purchased his first home. So I can tell everybody with confidence that he does a lot of hard work on behalf of his clients,
Thank you.
right? But for other people outside who are not in his touch, right? You need to do your own
Due
due
diligence.
diligence. Yeah. So there's a lot of things before you get into it. Make sure you know at least a big chunk of the information you should have on your mind before you get into the market and start looking,
Yeah,
right?
let me give a little bit of idea in there. In pre-construction segment, there are lots and lots of things that you need to know. If you're not aware of how pre-construction works, I would advise always you go with a realtor, because an experienced realtor, not the part-timers. I'm saying so. So the people who know how the business is done and
So
conducted.
I would like to stop you right there. What do you mean by part-time realtors?
Some I'm not saying anything against them. Only thing is people who has done the deals they are experienced. Sometimes people take licenses and they just park there. They don't have an experience. I've seen a lot of horror stories in the past with a lot of clients that they didn't realtor didn't do the good job. But always check the profile of the realtor, how he's working, how long he's been into the business, and what he's doing exactly in which area, and then choose the realtor. So
Is there any platform, like a centralized platform, where if somebody wants to go and check, let's say they got introduced to somebody, right? Is there a platform? I know you guys are licensed, right? Everybody is. So is there somewhere they can go and check how credible somebody is in your industry? Because I have personally, thankfully, I was introduced to you by Yogesh, right? So I already had some backing in terms of trust, and everything you said makes me believe more in how you deal with the clients. But let's say if somebody who is already being approached by multiple clients, let it be a seller or a buyer, right? How can they make sure that the person they're dealing with is a genuine person?
So the best way to see is just go into the website record.ca to see they actively have an active license. Over there, you can find out. Secondly, the biggest platform right now is the social media, right? If you check their Facebook, their Instagram pages, mostly an active realtor updates themselves. But it's not necessarily the case. Some are very busy, but it's right now what you see right now, everyone is on Facebook and Instagram. There you can see how they are doing the business and how long they've been into the business. So these are the platform where you can see like how long he's been doing this. And I would say if somebody is constantly posting their achievements, their awards, everything on the social media, that shows that he is into the business for long and he's doing the business.
It's a very tricky train, Paji, because on social media we have seen something too much as well. Then
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
We
People,
have seen
yeah.
people dancing.
Oh, those things are just to get attraction from the crowd, right? There's so many, I know there's so many realtors around there. So they want to stand out. So that's why they do all sort of things, which is their personal thing. So I don't comment on that, but it is what it is, right? So I don't do it.
That's
It's
true.
basically, yeah, that's what it is, I would
I
say.
also have another question, Paji. I know, like currently, if everybody is aware, right, that apartments are down and they're
Condos.
crashing. There are a lot of apartments in the market. Not too many people are interested in apartments right now.
Yeah.
Could this be a good opportunity for somebody who is not able to afford, let's say, a semi or a detached house right now? Is this a good starting point for them to step into the housing market by getting it for, like, starting it with an apartment, even as their primary resident? I'm not talking about investments here.
Right. So right now, what I would suggest to my first-time home buyers, my clients, that if you are paying a rent of 2,000 or 2,500 even, there is no point paying a rent right now if you qualify, right? And the mortgage, if you qualify, mortgage can be done as low as 5% down, right? So if you qualify, you have a good job, you have good credit, you can easily opt out for a condo, at least 2 bedrooms. So I'm just giving you an example. In Toronto, some nice apartments are available for 2 beds, less than 500. And I did a lot of deals last year where I got somebody in Scarborough in downtown Toronto for 2 beds around 500s. So it's very good market right now for a first-time home buyer. Whoever, even if he doesn't have that lot of budget to it, but stop renting and get your own, because in couple of years of time, this will increase no matter what, right? Even if you bought something for 500,000 right now, in 2 years time, if market picks up, at least your condo will give you at least 50 to 70K rise, and then your situation will change, and then you can move on to something else, right? Little bit, step by step, you can upgrade. But if you have a good job, if you have a little bit of down payment, and you can qualify good credit, definitely, guys, go for at least a condo and have your at least something of your own. I'm talking about GTA. If you're moving a little bit out of GTA, you can even get a freeholds, like a nice new towns, or even detached, like older detached properties. So that's something, if somebody's interested, that can definitely contact me and I can send them a master list of what's available.
Okay, let me frame this question differently.
Yeah.
If you were buying your first home today,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you know already,
Mm-hmm.
would you buy a condo for yourself?
If I'm renting right now and I'm paying $21 to $2,200, definitely, and I have a good job, I will definitely go for a condo. Condos are very good. If you look at, it depends on how big is your family, but let's say if you are a couple or a single guy or even a very small family, two-bedroom condo, first of all, it's a high rise, right? When you go in there, the vibe is totally different from basements. Or even if you're putting something 2,800 down in a low rise. Condo has their own amenities, like they have their pools, swimming pools, they have the gyms, they have the party rooms, they have the game stations, the newly built ones. So the vibe of condo is totally different. It's like living in a luxury hotel, some of the condos which are newly built. So if come back to your question, if I am renting right now, and I can afford condo, I will 110% go and buy a condo right now. And later on, even my situation changes, like, so there's no point sell that condo, just keep it and rent it out. That way, how you build a portfolio of properties one by one by one by one.
Okay, Anish, would you?
I
If
I
you
might
if you
not,
don't
but
if you
interesting
don't
thing,
own a
I'll share
home,
an interesting experience of mine. Paji might know it. I started when I was looking for houses, I started from apartments. Because I work in IT, right? So mostly I have to be in downtown. That's also a plus point. What Paji stated, people who are like couples and work in IT and have to travel, let's say even 3 days a week, it makes sense for them. But at the same time, my family is close, so they visit more often, and I needed more space. That was one. Second, I already had lived in an apartment. I have my pros and cons in my mind that why an apartment is good and why it is not good. And also, at the time when I was looking into the market, apartments were already inflamed. The prices were like I still remember 600 square feet for 650 or something.
Mhm.
I know it's still like $1,000 per square feet kind of thing, but at that time the builders were coming up with so ridiculous outlay of the apartments that I was completely taken back that I never want to get an apartment. But I have after that seen builders also correct themselves, and there are a lot of good apartments there as well. But I have started my journey of house hunting from an apartment, and it was very gradual. I started from apartment, then I moved to townhouses. By the time I was in townhouses, everybody wanted a townhouse, so I had to switch to a semi-detached. We put an offer into a couple of semi-detached, Paji
Yes,
knows it, but then market was very competitive at that
that
time.
was crazy
Yeah.
market. Yeah.
And anything that would stay in market for more than a week, it was a miracle because if that property is good, it's not gonna stay there for a week. So when I was getting it, I had a very different experience journey. But right now, as Paji stated, that the market right now is offering many good apartments at a very reasonable rate, right? So if I would have bought it at that time, right now I would have been sitting in a 50,000 loss or something because market has corrected itself this much. So if you buy it maybe today, you might get actually an appraisal because market wise apartments usually don't appraise that well as houses does. And I had other plans in my mind because I wanted to have a side rental income. I had basement in my mind, so I thought in that direction and then invested in a property which could provide me a rental side income rather than having an apartment. But in today's time, if I had to, I might, but then I'll also see a lot of other things, especially the maintenance. That's a big
Yeah,
thing
that is
that
fair.
takes me away from
Yeah.
the apartment.
But with your case, Anish, let me correct you. You are eligible for a good mortgage, right? The one that I told you scenario is a very base who has a good income,
Obviously, I was
qualifies a
eligible,
certain
that's why
amount.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
still, even though I was eligible, I started from an apartment because I know it's
yeah,
a big expense and getting a house, stepping into the housing market is always very like it's a nerve thing that people get nervous, think a lot, it's a big decision, right? Especially
Yeah.
after as an immigrant, when you come to a different country,
Of course,
you
of
don't
course.
have anything
Your
and you are
first house
making
is a
your
big
own
step.
assets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.